Hello, Internet. This is Boris Schlossberg, and we have the final 2020 edition of the Trading Battle. I have the murderer's row of traders with me today. Every trader on the panel today is a former Trading Battle winner. So let's say hi to all of them, starting with Peter Anthony. How are you, sir? Coming to us from the other side of the globe. Beautiful Bali.
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very well. And then we'll go on to Sabrina, who I guess is Sabrina. Where are you? Are you in Europe somewhere?
Yes, in Switzerland. Hi, Boris.
Switzerland. She's
Hello,
very. Hi, nice to see you. And then after that, let's go to the west coast of the U.S. with Dave Floyd.
Hey there.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing really well, Boris.
Very good. I see we're all bathed in the glow of warm lamps, as opposed to Peter, who's bathed in the glow of warm sunlight. And then we'll move on to our mystery man, Crypto Miki, who won't even tell you where he's from because he's always remains mysterious. Crypto Miki, how are you?
Hello, Boris. How are you doing?
Somewhere broadcasting somewhere from the North Pole.
Somewhere.
And finally, we're going to go to Nick Sayak, who is with us from Atlanta.
Yes. Hi, Boris. Thank you for having me on again.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you, Nick. Nick always has the best lighting. He's got the great mood lighting behind him.
I have some help, but yes, the interior designers did the hard work.
I'm always very jealous. I'm like, one of these days I'm going to get the same lighting from my background.
I'll give you their number. You could get some of these.
Is all that lighting carbon neutral, though?
Sorry?
Is all that lighting carbon neutral?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. Absolutely.
It is. So, everybody, so glad to have you guys. Everybody here has been a winner, former on the Trading Battle, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we're coming up to the end of the year. It's been a tumultuous year, to say the least, I think, from every angle. And we're going to cover all of the markets that I think matter. We're going to talk about Forex. We're going to talk about indices, commodities, crypto, and everybody here is sort of a specialist in a variety of various markets. So we'll let them choose the instruments they want to trade. But this is an all-in edition. There is no stops here. There is no targets. There is no limits. And the way we're going to construct the show is we're not really going to force anybody to trade any particular instrument. They can choose what they want to do. They can choose a variety of instruments, and they can also choose, of course, whatever size they want. So this is, as I said, an all-in bet. You can be as levered or as diversified as you want to be to see who's going to be the winner of all winners today for the year 2022. But as I said, it's been a tumultuous year, and let's start with the most macro of macro-y markets, which is Forex. And let's talk to Nick a little bit about him because he obviously trades Forex. Just generally view, what do you think of FX this past year? And more importantly, what do you think the opportunities lie for next year as far as the charts that you're looking at and everything else that's going on with you?
Sure. So you mentioned it's the macro market, and that's for sure, and probably impactful to the rest of the markets that we're going to talk today is probably the Federal Reserve's sort of most recent news. We've probably all heard and heard over and over this whole, super strong U.S. dollar for the last, year and a half with the Federal Reserve being so incredibly hawkish. We've seen that kind of be challenged.
That's so strong, right? I mean, we're looking at a chart of Dixie right now. It looks like dying, it looks like Bitcoin before it collapsed.
Yep, it really has had this this indestructible run to the upside until just now. There's some chinks in the armor that are showing up. You've got inflation kind of curbing. You've got just Jerome Powell's most recent speech being a little bit soft on the rate hikes and that sort of thing, and that's leaving some room to the upside on things like equities and gold. And then when you go in the currency world, it's giving room to some of the counter currencies, which have been beaten down all year until here towards the end, where you've got things like the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar on the rise and showing a little bit of strength for once. I mean, it has been a while since I've seen anything but the dollar taking the top of all the currency heat maps that I watch. So it's cool to see. It's there's a lot of opportunity, I think, going into the new year as that potentially continues. I try not to predict too heavily, but just generally speaking, with that inflation sort of curbing, it looks potentially like you could see some more run to the upside on some of the counter crosses.
Okay, somebody's MetaTrader is, I know it's 5 o'clock in New York, so it's actually the close of the Forex market. So somebody's MetaTrader was shutting on and off. I don't know if it was mine or somebody else's, but that's what that noise was. Peter, what about you on FX? What do you know? I know you've been trading a little bit of FX. I know you primarily focus on crypto, but what do you see there?
Again, obviously, just been looking at the US dollar, and I think I've been looking at Forex mainly because of low volume in crypto, but actually a lot of what happens in Forex, or a lot of what's been happening with the dollar is related to what's been happening in crypto. Obviously, with the impact of what's happened in FTX recently, watching quite closely the US dollar or the DXY to see when we're going to sort of see a turnaround in the crypto market. And actually, I think the crypto market turnaround is pretty much around now, potentially another dip on the horizon, but I think that comes in turn with maybe another USD kind of like push back to the upside just to sort of retest. So I've literally kind of have worked out that they're fairly negatively correlated.
Interesting. Amongst the FX pairs, which one would you focus on? What looks best to you?
I mean, I'm sort of not too exotic. I just sort of stick between GBP and Euro USD.
Okay.
I have in the past sort of dealt with JPY and things, but I kind of like the more time I've spent trading, the more I kind of try to narrow down what I'm actually trading, and just sort of monitoring.
We actually had a trader. We had a trader on Trading Battle last week, who like a Forex trader who never traded JPY in his life. Like it was the first time he made a trade on the, and I was like, how could you like not trade JPY? That's like not eating a hamburger. It was like the most un-American thing I ever heard of, but it's funny.
I mean,
Sabrina, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to Sabrina, I know you're in Europe. You got to be focusing a little bit on FX. What do you see in that market that looks interesting to you?
Oh, for me, it was especially the cable. The movements in cable were quite astounding. Never thought that I would see cable trade like an
emerging market currency.
Exactly.
Right.
So that has been really interesting, and then especially Guppy, pound yen.
Right.
Incredible pair to trade,
Right.
big ranges,
Right.
and then pound Aussie, pound Kiwi, So
when I'm actually interested,
it was like when the Brexit.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been as volatile since Brexit time. You're right. I'm actually interested, like when you see massive volatility in a pair. This is a question to anybody on the panel. Is your first instinct to go with the flow, to do a continuity trade, or is the first instinct to try to look for some kind of a reversal and a pivot point? When you see massive range breakout, anybody, it's a throw-out question. Mickey, feel free to participate, even though I know. Do you trade FX? I think no, you're trading indices only.
No, I don't trade FX, unfortunately.
You don't trade FX. What's your first? I'm just curious. What's your first instinct? Is it usually to like look for a turn, or just to look for, oh, if this is moving 100 points up, I gotta get along this thing? How do you guys usually trade it?
I'll hop on like when the yen started moving. Just smaller size and bigger stops.
Smaller size, bigger stops. Interesting. Okay. What about you, Peter? How do you usually deal with that kind of move?
I tend to wait until it's basically played out, but I'm always anticipating a reversal in the market, and sort of see them as sort of soaking up liquidity. In terms of my sort of trading strategy is very much around like the last sort of 2 4-hour candles. I don't get too involved in everything else, the wider picture, because I know that pretty much the most recent data is the most useful data, and then I zoom in and it's pretty much, I guess, break and retest stuff.
Right. So how do you zoom in? Do you zoom in on a 5-minute chart? Do you zoom a 15-minute chart off the last 4 hours?
4:15.5.
4 hour, 15-minute, and then 5-minute.
So literally marking the top, bottom, and middle of the last 4-hour candle.
Right.
And if it's looking for continuation, I'm literally looking for a pullback to the 50%. If it's a break and a retest, I'm looking for movement towards the upside and then back to the top of that candle. And it's literally looking at the last 4-hour candle. So I jump on 1 p.m. here, which is 6 a.m. London open, or 6 a.m. before London open. and I'm looking for setups
and-
for that, and I trade 1 4-hour candle.
And do you and then the entry technique? Do you go in? Do you wait for a confirmation of your ultimate direction? Let's say you're trading retrace to the upside. Do you look for let's say a green 5-minute or a green 15-minute, or do you just simply say, oh, it's at 50, I'm just buying blind. I'm going to assume that that's going to be a stopping.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. Many people talk about having like an order block, and it kind of like supply and demand trading, where it comes back into a zone, and you're looking for the second dip back in. So typically, like a double bottom pattern on a 5 or 15-minute chart is literally a pullback to the 50% zone of a 4-hour candle.
But in order for it to be a double bottom, you got to see it actually popping off the bottom. So you do wait. You want to see a green candle if you want to go long. You want to see a red candle if you want to go short.
I mean, typically, and I've noticed this more in Forex, like the second or the third time that it gets into that zone, it's going to come in harder and further and then come out. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like the deeper pullback. But if it's getting down below the 50% range and closing there, then I won't get in. So I'm looking for pullback and then like a bullish push out of that, and then I'm getting in.
Out of that in the direction of your thesis of your trade, whether it's going up or down. Okay.
Yeah, which allows for like a very tight stop, and then obviously good profit.
So you're basically you're a classic reversal trader who just wants the minimum amount of risk, whereas Sabrina is much more of a I think a trend based trader that will absorb a lot of a lot of retrace because her target is a longer term target. Like I think that's interesting. That's there's lots of different styles of how you would trade. We have a little amount of time, so I wanted to talk to you guys. We're talking about Forex first because that's our first market that we want to attack. Let's hear your if you guys have a strong trade you want to take, give it to me. If nobody has any Forex trades, I'm going to make you do one trade in one of these markets before we go out. It's an all-in trade. So if Forex is your market right now, choose your trade and give me the reasons for why you want to go. Anybody, and Dave, feel free to participate if you want on the Forex side.
Well, I'll chime in right here. Like all the other panelists, it looks as though the dollar has finally given up a lot of the steam. For me, it's all about breaks and price levels that dictate where we go next. I'm not in the forecasting business. I'm in the where's the market going? I'll hitch my wagon to it. Okay. So for me, the cleanest play right now for a weak dollar is going to be long euro. Do I like adding to a position or establishing it at these levels? We'll probably get a little bit of a pullback, but for the sake of this particular contest, we don't have much of a choice. So I'm bullish euro into the year end. So that's the trade I'll be taking, at least in terms of the Forex space.
Where's your uncle point in euro? Like where would you what would you say on the chart that you say, this is gonna
great question. For me, probably back below 103.80, 102.66 at the worst, but I don't think you have to. If it gets back below 103.84, which was my trigger point to get long, that would be my trigger point to get out of the trade.
Like this is how much I'm out of FX at this point. I didn't even realize euros at 105. I mean, I was like last time I looked at it, it was sub 97.
Yep. That's when everybody was bearish.
That's when everybody was bearish. That's when everybody was bearish. It's really amazing about that.
The only other thing I would say, I think the other strong contender of a trade, I know we can only pick one.
No, you can pick whatever you want.
I think dollar yen continues to look vulnerable. We get back if we hold below 135.25, although we're pretty extended. I think that's the uncle point for even much lower levels going into 2023.
Yeah, dollar yen is the new Bitcoin, Peter. Okay, that's like it used to be the world's most boring currency, but now it's like the most interesting currency to trade. Okay, so Dave likes euro. We're going to put him into a long euro trade. What about anybody else on the FX side? Nick.
I could probably take something. Like Dave said, it's a tough day in terms of there's nothing pulling back. You've got a lot of things at this point in my own trading. This is a sort of day where I'd be, similar to Sabrina, trying to hold on to something that's moving, go with the flow kind of day. But for the sake of trying to enter a trade, I can probably find something here. I do like I mentioned, some of the emerging markets, against the dollar. I think things like pound USD are looking really interesting. You've also got New Zealand dollar, which is the one that I currently have been trading a lot.
So you've been saying that. It's the fundamental argument for Kiwi and Aussie is kind of horrible because China is just really on the back foot. But that doesn't seem to, there must be something else going on here, or is it, anybody have any brilliant ideas as to why the Antipodeans are rallying? Like, what's going on in that part of the world that people are bullish? Is it just because they think China is no longer as big a factor to the economy of those countries?
I think part of it is lesser those currencies and more so the dollar itself. It's kind of just they've been absolutely crushed. It's kind of like small cap stocks rising in a market reversal. You've got these guys have been obliterated.
It's more positioning than fundamentals. Interesting.
Right.
I think so. It's also the whole risk on notion of those currencies. They're pretty good barometers of risk on, risk off.
Right.
And obviously the S&Ps have been on a tear. So
Right.
It's not unusual to see Kiwi and Aussie rally under those situations. And plus the dollar index is moving lower.
Sure. Okay. All right. So Nick, we're going to put you long Kiwi. We're going to make
okay. Yeah, sure. I'll take that.
All right. And what about Sabrina? Do you have any feels for FX? Or you want to save your powder for other assets?
No, I'll be happy to take FX. I prepared my chart. I'm not liking the US dollar at the moment with NFP tomorrow, so I opted for CAD Swissy.
Yeah. So it's CAD Swissy to the long side or short side?
Yeah, to the long side.
The long side. Yeah. So you want to go long CAD against Swiss.
I think the chart is very overextended. When you look at the weekly, we're coming into a supply zone. We had this beautiful downtrend, but I think it's going to exhaust itself, and we have the S&P coming up on the 5th of December, and I think Jordan most likely won't be very aggressive because there's only 3% inflation in Switzerland, and fairly strong.
I just want to know, how does Switzerland manage to avoid every plague that hits the rest of the world and just dances its way to complete full employment and growth, regardless of whatever storm is happening everywhere else? It just amazes me. And just as she was about to answer that question, her froze. That's probably because the Swiss authorities don't want us to reveal the secrets. All right, well, we'll bring her back. We'll bring her back when she can. Let's move over to indices and bring crypto Miki in and say, shh.
Oh boy.
Hey, come on.
They're barking at the rats.
There's my Simbi, calm down. Oh, he's just barking because somebody's outside the door. Shh, Simba. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's the inevitable of doing internet show from everybody's house. So let's talk indices because that's actually my bailiwick. Miki, tell me what you're seeing in stocks. Hey, Sabrina, good to see you back.
I'm short, very bearish.
You bearish stocks. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Stocks. Well, depends on the stock, If it's a tech stock that's already down 97%, I probably won't be as bearish.
Well, let's look. Let's just look at the indices. Let's look at.
You can take a look at the Dow Jones, right?
And the US 30. Yeah, let's look at those.
Right?
You always have the
huge rise it's had from the bottom. It's got like a. If you would have held the Dow Jones since like the beginning of the year from like its high, it'd only be down like 7%.
Right.
Everything else is still way down.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And you can take a look at the stocks that are composed like in the Dow Jones, like CAT. The stocks I'm short right now. Up so crazy, like a crazy amount. I think I'm going to short this on our challenge actually. It's up like 40,
this is what are we looking at? What is this? This
is Caterpillar.
Oh, Caterpillar.
Yeah. I think it's on 8cap. I was just looking it up.
Okay.
So I'll be able to trade this.
Okay.
This is probably one that I'd be shorting, as well as the Dow Jones and the S&P. I'd be short the S&P right now.
So let's talk about the broad indices. Why? What do you see? Is it just a matter of the fact that they're really approaching overextended resistance
Not
levels
just
here?
that, it's just the fundamentals don't realign. You know, we're gonna enter a recession, like a pretty bad one. The market's pricing in like a very light recession, and the Fed's gonna bail everyone out, and they're gonna cut rates and the pivot. And actually, I think that yesterday's statement for Jerome Powell, a lot of people were thinking it was dovish because he was hinting that they could possibly cut rates and lower rates, or not cut rates, but slow down the pace of rates in December, possibly.
Yes. Right.
But he also said that he's going to be raising rates further than they expected, and they're going to stay there for a longer period of time. Right. And then the market rallied on that. So I don't think that's going to be good for the economy and the market as a whole.
I think your caution is well warranted. The data today was, the ISM data today, I think really showed. I mean, that's why the market kind of rolled over, because yes, the price component was very low, but that's because demand was just basically non-existent. We're under 50, and new orders were really off the charts. And you clearly are seeing everybody turning into a porcupine. Everybody's turning inward as far as spending on the economy. So there's no doubt that we're entering a pretty turbulent time, I think, which is interesting because Dave was on the opposite side of that. I mean, Dave has been long the S&P, but I wonder, if gun to your head right now, Dave, would you still be long because price hasn't really broken any levels for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I've learned the hard way, like everybody does throughout their trading career, is I try not to get into analyzing the data, what people say, because my interpretation and my bias is going to creep into that.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's all about price action. I don't really give a shit what Jerome Powell said yesterday. The market liked it. And until the market proves to me otherwise, I'm willing to hitch my wagon to go along with that. But there's also technical reasons to be long. If the market's above a particular level, that momentum continues to stay until proven otherwise. Of course, every once in a while I'm going to get my hand slapped. But for me to go out and say, I'm going to get short because of a looming recession, of this and of that, that's really bold. And I've learned the hard way. I used to be that kind of trader, and it never usually worked out very well. So I'm still bullish. My line in the sand, 40.12, certainly 39.79, which is basically where we rallied off of this week. As long as we stay above those levels, I'm bullish. And again, I already did go long the S&Ps as part of the challenge here. I will go long the S&Ps as part of the challenge. And I think, the little pullback we had off of yesterday's highs, even though it's small, it's better than nothing. So yes, I remain bullish, and I think we'll be higher by the end of the year. Cool.
All right. So Dave is long into the end of the year, and Miki is basically I know Miki builds.
So it depends on your time horizon, right? So if you're giving me a week, if you're giving like a week to short, like short or long, I might long as well, because the market could easily push higher from here, right? It doesn't mean like I'm gonna short and like go all in at this point, right?
Right. Well, I was gonna say, because I know your style. You know my style. So
you're
a scale up trader. So you do a probative position, and if it goes up again, you're gonna give yourself lots of room to breathe before.
I'm not an all-in type of guy.
Right. You're not an all-in guy. So by the way, actually, let's talk a little bit about it, because you have a very unique style. I love that style just as a technique. Tell us a little bit about, imagine, you have all the money in the world, and you're going to, you're free to short the S&P.
Well, I mean, if I had all the money in the world, it'd be really easy to trade. But so,
right.
Let's say I don't have all the money in the world, right?
You have an endless bankroll, and you could just short until the thing collapsed, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could be Goldman Sachs.
Or like CAT, right? I'm short CAT right now. I see a level that I like. I see the stock's pretty overextended right now.
Right.
So I shorted 237.35 cents, and it's just been chopping sideways right now. I think a lot of hedge funds are still rotating out of the NASDAQ back into the value stocks, like into the Dow Jones. That's probably why you're seeing the Dow Jones like going crazy, and the NASDAQ's just lulling around here, right?
Yes.
So if it pushes higher, I'll keep adding. But again,
but that 246, is that your uncle point? Is that sort of like, if it runs through that's where you would?
I hope it does get to 246, because I could add more to my position, but I only have like 2 out of 10 right now. I only have like a small amount into this trade.
Right. So that's what you do. You actually divide your entry size into like 10 little parts, which
Yeah.
gives you lots of room to scale in into positions.
But then I can enter like multiple positions, right?
Right. And then do you trade each position individually? So in other words, let's say, would you take partial profits on the highest entry, or do you look at the trade as a blended average and you trade the whole blended average?
Sorry. So like I'll take profits depending on like how much I have into the trade as well. I could say like I have like 9 out of 10, and I'm up like 4-6%. I might take it there because that's a big chunk of money, right? Your capital's so big already. So
right.
But if it's like it's only 2 10s, I might ride it to like 15%, 10%. Depends.
So
like
so
I closed a couple trades today too. Like on gold, I saw the miners rallying, so I took some profits there.
Yeah, that's actually our next conversation. But here's my last question to you about technique. When you divide your position size into 10s, how much of your total portfolio is a 10 out of 10 trade? Is that a 10% of your total portfolio? So it's not effectively you're just doing 1% of your portfolio at each particular level. Like what's the ratios?
Because of margin, right? I can borrow a good amount, right? So I'll probably, let's say I have like $1 million, and I can leverage it up to like 2.5 million in borrowing.
Okay.
Depending on like how much the bank or the institution wants to lend you, I might put in like 5 to 10,000 in each 1/10, right?
So I guess my question is
very small amount. It's not too not too crazy.
Right. But my question is like what is the cumulative? Like, is it 10% of that?
I guess you could say like it's 0.5% or 1%.
0.5% each 1/10.
But the thing is I can go like 200% of the portfolio because I could borrow, right?
Right. No, I understand. But you wouldn't put 200% of portfolio in one single position.
No.
So what I'm asking is,
I find that pretty risky. That's some Alameda research type of stuff.
Correct. So that's what I'm asking. Like, you subdivide your position into 10 little units, but cumulatively, what all those 10 units? What is that worth? 10% of your total portfolio, 5% of your total portfolio, or even smaller than that?
It could depend. It could be like 5 to 10% depending on the stock or the trade. Yeah, 5 to 10%.
That's what I wanted to know. That's what I want to know as far as risk. Sorry, guys, I got a little wonky here, but
he's trying to. I can send you my Word document that I have written out here.
Right. No, but you have a very unique approach, and I wanted and that's why I wanted to explore it a little bit because people generally people use just single trade, one stop,
and
one
stop
side.
losses, right?
Yes.
And if I do big day trades like leverage trades like that, I'll use a stop loss.
Right.
That's what I do for crypto. I stop my trade up because you can borrow so much on crypto markets.
Right. Speaking of crypto, Peter Anthony, the crypto man of the hour. What's going on in crypto? I know you said to me you were trading Bitcoin up and down. Just first of all, give me sort of a read on what what's going on in the market in general.
I mean, crypto is an interesting one, and it's suddenly become more interesting, I think, because this is kind of the first bull market where we've seen institutions starting to get in and at the sort of the source of it, right? And at the source of the breakouts, whereas I feel like they were kind of coming in towards the end of the last bull market, which is now sort of starting to go from like pure like retail traders, which gave like very nice, easy patterns to read. It was very easy to sort of trade, and now it's transitioning into a game of the markets, which is
it's becoming a market-making game, and that's much harder.
Which is why it's making it more, I'd say, more kind of behave more like Forex and things like that.
Interesting. It's becoming a transition market instead of a retail market. That's interesting because that's the only people left in the game, and that's much harder, right?
Yes. So I think you feel like there's always been a lot of manipulation because there's a lot of money in the game. Something like I heard something the other day that like during Chinese New Year, about 70% of the volume drops out the market. So who's trading who's trading Bitcoin right now. Right. So I think there's a huge amount of kind of manipulation and people like making calls between each other, and without the sort of regulation, that's obviously unsurprising. Right. So right now we're seeing theoretically we should be pushing quite aggressively towards the upside. as we've seen the dollar sort of falling off, and we've seen, you know, pumps in the stock market and things like that, crypto usually goes hand in hand with those. But after the FTX fallout the other day, it's changed kind of the environment right now. So it's still very uncertain, and we're getting a lot of people getting a bit hyped, thinking that the market's about to blow up towards the upside, and it could do, but I really don't think that that's going to happen right now. So I think that we're going to be there's a heck of a big bull trap coming in right now, and that we are about to get dumped to the downside, possibly to a low that we've not seen for a good few years, but not possibly the low that everyone is expecting.
Actually, this is to everybody on the panel, but you know, Miki, please chime in. Do you think we could see Bitcoin break 10,000?
Easily.
Wow.
If the equities go, crypto's.
You mean if equities decline?
If equities go down as well, but not only that, like if it's still unregulated, and depending on how the U.S. government and all the other countries approach regulation for crypto, I think it could be pretty negative. You might see a lot of people just sell out of it because they don't want the regulation.
Yeah. Interesting.
And,
you know, so I mean,
everyone said it wasn't going to go past the 2017 high, and we went past it. We took it up.
You mean to the downside? To the downside?
They said it. Yeah. They said it never goes past.
Never goes below its previous high.
all-time high. Yeah, and then you know what? We took that shit out.
And we took that out. Yeah. It's always nice to talk to you, Miki, because you always have such a sunny view of the world. You know, like I'm ready to slit my wrists after I
very positive. I know.
You're just Mr. Positivity. Yes, always. But you know, Peter makes a super interesting point that I think we kind of completely miss here because of cultural mores. Crypto is much more of an Asian product at this point, because I think most of North American and possibly European, I don't know, Sabrina, feel free, like maybe you have a read on it out of Europe, but it's certainly in North American, retail flow is out of it. Like, you know, I know if my barber is out of it, I know that almost everybody in North America is out of it. So like it's basically sort of much more of Asia Pacific product at this point, because there, you know, there is a use case there because there's no fiat that people trust there. Like, you know, in OECD countries, the fiat is fine, but in all those other countries, fiat is just garbage. So there it still has a use case. So it's interesting.
It's still technically illegal in China, though. That's the problem.
Yes.
So it's illegal in China, but 70% of the crypto volume is coming from China.
Coming from China, and it's precisely because people want to be able to have flight of capital. They don't want to have their yuan seized from them, and they want to have the freedom to and that's what I'm talking about, the use of capital. You know, it's you know, the irony of the whole thing is crypto doesn't really have any value in democratic societies. Its only value is in totalitarian societies. That's the use case. Anyways, so we are short crypto. I mean, feel free to lay down trades, guys, if you haven't yet. But I'm assuming you're short Bitcoin, Peter, and probably any levels or any targets. And Miki, I know you just been continuously short. You're looking for it to collapse further, right?
Well, no, I'm probably going to be looking to short if it gets back up to around 17. Like something I actually like exactly what Anthony said. I was looking around 17,400, 17.
Okay. Okay. So,
around that area.
All right. So you know the trading battle rules. If it's close to the neighborhood, you're in the trade. We only go market here. There's no limit wussing out here. So you guys are there. So we're gonna make you go short Bitcoin both ways. One last question on crypto before we kind of close it up with commodities. And everybody feel free to chime in. The other argument is that, yes, this whole crypto collapse has been terrible, but out of the ashes, Ethereum will rise because that's the programmatic crypto, and therefore it has use case beyond just simply a store of value, so on and so forth. Do you share that a long-term optimism, or do you find that dubious?
I want to just so with regards to crypto, 99% of people who own crypto don't know what each of those cryptos does. So that's like, like this is probably making it like sorry to everyone in crypto, but like I know so many people who've got like 10, 20, maybe even more money in like Ethereum, and they don't know what a blockchain is. So I'm like, a lot of like crypto is about how good is your marketing team. I think,
right,
from a very shallow perspective.
It really is.
Which is why you've got like Doge and Shiba Inu, which have absolutely killed it because people like the idea. But there obviously are, excuse me, a lot of use cases for these different cryptos, and that's probably what will give them longevity over something else. But is Ethereum as good as Solana? I'd say Solana's probably better, but Solana obviously got stuck in the FTX drama, so it gets massively dragged down. And will it be able to recover? Probably not. So yeah, I feel there are kind of like a lot of really great technologies that are coming in crypto, but I'd say a lot of whether you get off the ground and you become one of these kind of massive entities in the start is probably an element of luck and a lot of like good marketing and who and who your investors are.
Interesting. So I guess we just have to wait for price action, like Dave does, to see who the winners are, and then we can ride those crypto winners in the future. I want to just close up with a market that it's been quiet, but it definitely deserves a little bit of attention, which is commodities, gold and oil specifically. Anybody have any strong views? Anybody have any directional views? I see Nick shaking his head very avidly. So, and Sabrina too. So why don't you guys chime in? Let me know.
Yeah, I can talk about gold for a second. Just my thought process on it right now is, just similar to a lot of the other things we've discussed with, cryptos, and there's a lot of correlation across markets now. And I was actually having a conversation with Tom Basso. Some of you guys might know him. He's a former hedge fund manager, great guy. I had him on for a podcast.
Oh,
he ran a hedge fund, Trendstat, in the 90s, and
right. Well, is he from Atlanta, or he's got a southern accent? So I just
he's from Arizona. Well, he lives in Arizona. I'm not sure where he's originally from, but we were talking about it, and we were talking back and forth about how intensely correlated markets have become from his time and back in his former days. And I think that a lot of what we're talking about is so correlated across the board. You've got the cryptos, the indices, and the commodities all sort of talking to one another, and in probably a more increased way than many years before, with all the algos and stuff that go on behind the scenes. I think for me with gold, it's probably the same narrative as my thought process right now on equities and on the dollar. The dollar to me looks like sorry.
It's a bullish chart. I'm just
it looks great, right? I mean, it's breaking through the highs. You've got highs broken. I ideally would like to wait for a retest, but just going with the flow, I'd be happy to be long gold. If gun to your head, I'd rather be long than short here. Just with that squeeze continuing, sure, it might have pullbacks in between, but with gold currently, I think that the dollar just has plenty of room for that story to unwind, as bigger players might take a lot of time to move billions and trillions of dollars around. So I think that trade has room to run. Like I said, preferably on a pullback, but I'll take it here on the long side.
Interesting. Mickey, what do you think of gold? You got to be liking it. I know you're like.
Yeah, well, I've been, me. I've been long gold for a while, and I was like, I really liked it. Right around 1700, I was accumulating physical and like the gold miners around that area.
Where's your bunker? That's what I want to know.
Where's my bunker? I'm in it right now. Okay. No, but I've been getting some long positions in some gold miners right around this area, and it played out beautifully. And you can see that the DXY pulling back is basically the reason why gold's surging right now. And silver too. Silver's actually made a
wow. I haven't even looked at
silver. Yeah, silver is at 22 and 75 cents now. So it's
that's because that has room all the way to 27. That is
I was actually surprised to see it break past 22.
Yeah.
After that. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy.
By the way, everybody who's watching, I just want you to know that this is how you should be keeping your charts. I'm always like, Miki has the best looking charts, because what he does, it's actually deceptively simple. He annotates the key levels right on the chart, so it's almost intuitive to understand where the price action is moving to when you look at that. So I'm giving you a plug for how pretty you look.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's interesting. So silver is actually another really interesting thing.
Silver was very nice. Very nice to me.
Sabrina, what do you think? Any views on commodities?
I would actually short silver.
Really? Okay, tell me why.
Yeah. Just looking at the chart, that's a weekly chart. We're running into overhead resistance. We have the trend line coming down outside Bollinger Bands. That's kind of my favorite setup. And I don't think we've seen the end of the US dollar yet, so I'll be happy to short.
It's really interesting. It's ultimately, I guess, the precious metals bet is basically an implied dollar bet. That's what it is. And so if you think the dollar has more strength to go, then that bet is going to fizzle. Super interesting how this plays out. So we have lots of great ideas, great trades. I think everybody's got positions. Peter, do we have a position for you? I don't see any positions that you've taken. Anything you want to? I think you were short Bitcoin, right, Peter? We have you as short Bitcoin. That's your position of the day, right? I guess he's not. He doesn't hear me.
Sorry. Yeah, I can. Sorry, I've my. Okay, so I was going to short Bitcoin, but I've just taken a look at another Doge chart, and I think Doge, because Miki's going to go Bitcoin, I'll have a look at Doge.
Doge. Okay, so you're going to get the dog that is the Doge.
I mean, so unlike Bitcoin's had like one push up into a sell zone, but Doge, however, has had two. I can share with you my screen somehow.
Doge is a synthetic way to short Elon Musk, which I really like.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, it has like a big impact, but every time it always ripples back to the charts along with Bitcoin. But Doge right now looking pretty bearish.
Like all his lies, eventually they all come back to haunt him. So it's that's the same thing. Cool.
But the altcoins will tend to follow more aggressively than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin moves like 5%, everything jumps 10, 15. So it's probably
I like it.
more aggressive trade.
All in on dog.
Oops.
All in on dog.
Yeah.
It's a doggy thing. Okay, sounds good. So I think we have all our trades. We just went fractal. That was very cool.
That was me.
We went totally fractal there.
The only thing, Boris, I entered my Euro trade, but the S&Ps are closed. I'll enter those at the top.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. S&Ps are opening up in 15 minutes. It's just Chicago time. So we're gonna just put you guys in markets when the market opens up, and obviously we're gonna hold all those trades. Last thoughts, just sort of like if we can go round robin here of best idea. And I hate this question because we all know that it's a stupid question. Nobody knows what happens next year. But if you had to put all your money into one trade next year, what would it be? And I'll put Nick on the spot first. All your money into one trade next year, where would you go?
For a whole year, man, that is tricky. I think probably the answer I would gravitate to would probably be long S&P. I mean, I know you have recession fears and that sort of thing, and I saw some interesting stat that usually the announcement of a recession happens before a rally, and that's kind of like sketchy. But then again, that whole thing with the Biden administration, trying to quantify whether or not it was a recession, I don't know. To me, it was like the standard definition. It was, the current.
So you actually think the recession is done? Like
No. I'm not saying I think it's done. I'm just saying, in terms of the definition, right? The two consecutive GDP outputs. But I think. I think we're in the midst of it. We're going into it.
You think we're in the middle of a recession, and that means that we could probably the market is going to anticipate the turn out of a recession by next year, and we get a rally by the end of the year. Interesting.
I think in terms of I should say NASDAQ instead of S&P. It's a higher risk trade because you've got the NASDAQ. I was looking at it historically; it can get annihilated in recessions. But I think in terms of if I had to park at one place, that'd be it.
Interesting. Wow, that's a high risk bet. Okay, Miki probably is going to be on the opposite side of that. He's going to be just hoarding his gold for 2023. What do you think? All your money in one instrument. Where do you
put all my money in one trade for 2022?
Yeah, 23 for 23.
Oh, sorry, 2023. Yeah. I probably long gold.
Okay, interesting. Sabrina, what about you? Pound yen?
Oh, she's
Oh.
muted.
I think you're muted.
Am I?
Oh, yeah, there you are. No, now you hear you. Now we hear you. What were you saying?
Okay. I think cable does have some upside. I like the new government, and I think they will sort themselves out, and they will come out probably better than the European, the continental country.
Wow. Okay. That is an out of consensus view from every angle. I love it because nobody thinks UK is going to do better than Europe right now.
Look at Europe. You have from Portugal, Spain, Italy, which is an absolute nightmare. You have all the new European members. They're all nightmares. And everybody's looking at the UK and thinks they haven't got their shit together. I think they have the most capable premier now. And he does it not because
I would say he's the best man for the job right now for sure. Whether that's going to be enough, it remains to be seen. But that's interesting. It's a really interesting. That is a super interesting view. Long cable. I think nobody's thinking that right now. What about you, Peter? What do you think? All your money, one trade, 23. Where do you go?
Wow. Crypto, right? Obviously. Whether if I was to have to place it right now with a gun to my head, I'm going long. If we're going to go
really,
I still think that if I was taking a big trade that's going to go for a long period of time. I'm saying if a trade that's going to play out this week, it's going down.
Right.
But if I'm looking, long term, you've got the downside versus the upside is crazy.
Really?
The upside for Bitcoin, like every time we get these kind of bear markets and the news is super tragic and it's going to zero and this, it's just buy the market. Okay. Anytime JP Morgan or someone tells you it's going to go to 300K, then sell it. Literally, you can plot this on a chart. You can see whenever one of the big banks tells you it's going to go up, then it goes down the next day.
I think we just need Miki to annotate, everybody's idiotic predictions, and they're pretty much concur, pretty much at the peak of whatever instrument that's happening.
It's 300% upside to a potential downside of 35% right now. I think
there's a lot of out of consensus views here. I'm very 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 happy to have them. Dave, what about you? What do you think is
I think I'll take a twist on the dollar yen and say I'd be short CAD yen for 2023.
Short CAD yen. So basically, you bullish yen, but you think CAD falls. This, by the way, we didn't talk at all about oil, and I don't know if anybody has any views on oil. But oil, I think, surprised the hell out of people because all the oil analysts, especially every person who's I've been an oil analyst for 25 years and we're going to $150 a barrel this year, has just had egg on their face so bad this year. So, I'm just curious, any views on that, or do you think that, oil kind of stays low so that helps to depress the caddy, or it's just, that's not the reason?
It's not the reason for me to take the trade, but, obviously if oil goes down, that would certainly probably give a boost to CAD yen moving lower. Right. I just think the yen trade is a little overdone to the upside, meaning short yen.
Right.
And just the technicals, and again, I hate to get into the fundamentals because I usually don't trade it from that way, but maybe there's something coming on the horizon up in Canada from a housing perspective. That could add some weight.
That's a bubble that
Steve is right.
That's a bubble. That's a bubble that definitely
is crazy, but goodness God, for 2 years we've been talking about that, and
usually, we all know that those things, the longer you talk about it, the sharper the sell-off. We've all been around long enough to know that when it cracks, it's going to crack horribly. And so, it's having a son in Vancouver real estate. Trust me, my nose is very close to the ground on that. Anyways, well, guys, it's been super, super fun. It's been a great end of the year trading battle for us. A lot of very interesting ideas for everybody who's listening. I hope you guys really enjoy all the trades. We're obviously going to. I don't know what I need to know from my producer. Is it going to be 1 week forward? How are we going to mark this, or is it going to be 2023, they're going to mark the trades, and then we're going to, see who's going to be the winner of all winners here. They're telling me right now. It's going to be 5 days as normal. So all these trades 5 days from now, whoever's got the most money in the piggy bank is going to go for their charities. Do we have time to? Do you guys want to talk a little bit about, just very quickly, where people can find you and what charities you guys like to trade for? We'll start with Dave.
Sure. Well, you can find me in terms of my company, which is Aspen Trading Group.
Right.
My main focus is I do provide some research to clients, but I also manage money. That's mainly where I'm pushing the business nowadays.
Okay.
The charity I'm continuing to work on behalf, so to speak, is the Central Oregon Humane Society.
Okay. Wonderful. Are you? I thought you were in Oregon. You're not in. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm in Oregon, Bend, Oregon.
Oh, you're in Bend, Oregon? Oh my God! I was just there for the wedding this summer. What an amazing place! Amazing. Place.
It is an amazing place, and talk about a little bit of a real estate bubble. And I say little with
ridiculous. I didn't want to get into it. It's ridiculous. Like, let me give you an idea of, like, there's all this land, and they build houses tighter than they are in Queens, New York. Like, I've never seen the most ridiculous, like a 1/10 of an acre, 3-story house. So
yeah. And the average house is about $750 in this town, and 40% of sales back in like August, before all the shit hit the fan, cash sales.
Right. Yeah. No, it's
crazy.
Insane. It is insane. Yeah. But a very fun place. Nick in Hotlanta, of real estate bubbles. What are you trading for, and where can people find you?
Yeah, so the charity that I'm representing is ECPAT. If it's an anti-trafficking group in the U.S. And so, of course, I'm hoping I can bring home some winnings for them. And then also, if you'd like to find me, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Trader Nick. It's just one word, or you can find me on my company's website, A1 Trading. We build tools for software tools for traders, and provide some other educational resources.
Yeah, sounds great.
Whoops.
Oh, whose phone is that?
Sorry.
It's okay. Peter, where can people find you, and what are you trading for today?
My channel is the House of Crypto, so you can find me on YouTube. Also have like telegrams and things which can be found through that. Predominantly daily analysis of Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. And then sort of bringing people towards sort of educating them in trading. My charity is Help for Heroes, which is a British military charity founded around the sort of start of the Afghan war, and it basically helps injured war veterans as well as their families to cope with post-war injuries.
Unfortunately, way too many of those in our times.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an alarm? Is that Dave? Is that your alarm? Because I have alarms.
No, I thought I had my phone on silence. I apologize.
Okay. Miki, man of mystery. You do exist actually in
I'm a real person, yes.
Right, you do exist, but you do exist on the internet. Where can people find you?
People can find me at cryptomiki.com, or they can find me on my YouTube channel, CryptoMiki, same thing.
Right.
And yeah, people can join my Discord. That's where I share all my trades. Profit loss history is posted on my website. Everything's
any charity you want to plug?
Oh yeah, I'm trading for United Way today, and they help my local community.
Right.
Toronto.
Okay.
Good charity.
And the ultimate trader of mystery, Sabrina, can be found nowhere and can be approached no how, but she is trading for a charity. So you want to tell us a little bit about the charity you'd like to trade for?
I'm trading for the Alzheimer's Association of Switzerland.
Right.
And my mother is suffering from Alzheimer's, and they do a terrific job. And I hope that over the next 2 decades, the pharmaceutical industry will have a cure for.
Yeah, there's some bright stuff on the horizon. They are, there's this drug that's showing some efficacy, although it's had some side effects now. But I feel like we're close. I feel like we're close on a lot of really major medical breakthroughs. So hopefully that'll be great. Anyways, guys, I want to wish you everybody, happy New Year into 2023. May the force be with you. May all your trades be profitable, or at least may all your 10th of a trade be profitable, Miki. And I wish you guys, thank you so much for coming on this year. It's been a wonderful year. Great trade ideas for everybody. And for all of you guys watching Trading Battle, we're going to be back next year. We're going to take a little bit of a break for the holidays, but be back next year with more Trading Battle contests and more trading ideas. And I hope you guys all follow us. Be sure to follow us everywhere on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and enjoy. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Boris Schlossberg for the Trading Battle, over and out.